Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa and I'm joined by the glorious...
One amongst many. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm here too. We're going to be chatting all about Ashen, I guess, today. I tried to make it rhyme, it didn't really work. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the shiny new hero in Overwatch and sort of what's she good against, what's she bad against, what's your experiences like playing her, because I really like her. I don't know about you, but I goddamn love this hero.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people talking about Ashe Meta and all this stuff, and it's like, I don't think there's going to be an Ashe Meta, but the hero is super fun to play. Now, I think, for me personally, my most played hero in this game is McCree, and I was quite shocked to realise this, because I thought it was going to be Reinhardt or Winston, but across all of my accounts, I'm so sad, right, I sat down and added, because remember, I've got 7 accounts because I'm a goddamn idiot. Right, anyway, I added up the time, and it is by far McCree that I've played the most out of any hero. This is across all game modes as well. I tend to play McCree in Deathmatch quite a lot. I find that quite relaxing as Deathmatch can be. So anyway, this means that Ashe appeals to me straight away. I mean, I remember when I was at BlizzCon, and I spoke to some of the devs there. They were like, hey, Star, you'll like the new hero. I'm like, what do you mean I'll like the new hero? They're like, yeah, you'll love this hero. Of course, this is before the hero popped out, and it was like, oh my god, yeah, this hero is pretty good. Because it's like McCree, but the argument was it's McCree, but better. It's not, really, because we've covered this in other videos. McCree's a bit different than Ashe. But I guess the whole point of this video is, what are we going to see now with Ashe in the game? Is there going to be a radical change to the way the game is played? Will the meta change? Does she just completely shut down heroes? What about McCree? I mean, I before you come in, Josh, I think the biggest casualty here is Soldier 76. To be honest, I think he's just, I don't know what the point of him is.
He's really in a really awkward place at the moment. I mean, he's always kind of been in this place. As people have gotten better and better at like getting burst damage, and especially as like healers have gotten better and better at keeping people alive, and you know, people go into cover more now. They don't just stand out in the open. So Soldier 76 can do a lot of damage, but he can't kill anything. That's sort of his big problem, where Ashe doesn't have that problem, right? She can kill things all over the place because she does a whopping huge amount of damage with every single shot she lands. She does have some, you know, pretty dramatic damage fall off, but she's really good at confirming kills. You got, you know, the scoping, which is great, but you also have that dynamite as well, which is just incredible at confirming kills as people try and hide around corners. You flush them out, literally the voice line, and you blow them away with that, and it's incredible. So I kind of agree with that. Soldier 76 is in a really awkward place. I think he's fine as being sort of the new player friendly hero though, where, you know, a new player can just pick up Soldier 76, be effective with him pretty much no matter how familiar you are with FPS. As long as you're using your heal fields relatively sensibly, you can still contribute to the team. I have pet theories brewing in my brain about like Soldier 76, Brigitte, and Ana comps, stuff like that, like low healing comps, but you buff it up a bit with the Soldier. But moving away from him, like, I think Ashe actually has a high impact on one hero that a lot of people don't really think about too much against Ashe, which is Winston. I don't know if you've experienced this, but you see a Winston jumping, soaring through the air towards you, and you just look up and you just press shift and you just get blown away and can't do anything. You have that instant peel to get rid of him.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, this is like where a lot of people were comparing it back to McCree. It's like, well, McCree gets dove upon. It's all over for McCree. He's just got to roll and hope he rolls them further away, or he can flashbang them or something. It's not good for McCree. Ashe, though, yeah, you can punt them back straight away as they're flying in. But I found, which is quite funky, is even if they get onto you and you sort of punt them back, as you punt them back, obviously it does damage the coach gun, then you just like rapidly fire into the Winston. You probably have been shooting at the Winston as he was jumping in towards you. So you're shooting him already, then you're coach gunning him, then you're rapid firing into him. This is like a lot of damage. It's not a hell of a lot of damage. It's not enough to kill the Winston, but it's enough to make him think, oh my god, I've got to get out of it. McCree doesn't have that option. So Ashe, you can, like, to me, she looks like well, she definitely is, but she's a more modern hero, and she's got a way of dealing with the way the game has developed over time, whereas heroes like McCree generally don't. But yeah, I have noticed that she is really good against Winston. But I know you want to bring this point up, but this is it's the combo. It's Mercy with Ashe, and
yes,
I've had the pleasure of this. Shout out to the people in comp who are obliged by me going, hello, can you play Mercy? But it's just ridiculous, because it was on a game that sticks out in my head. I don't know if I've got the footage for this, but it was on Busan, the Shrine. Is it called Shrine on Busan, but the one with the big bell in the middle?
They'll know what you're talking about. People
it's not
know
a bell, it's like a gong. I don't know what it is.
The drum.
It's in the middle, ladies and gentlemen, the big drum. On that map there, she's super strong because you've got amazing like sight lines. You can just blast everybody. But when you're damage boosted, oh my god, it's crazy. It's just I don't know whether it's going to be super strong long term because Mercy needs to pocket you, but then Mercy's only really used as a pocket for Pharah these days, right?
So it's no great change from like Mercy Widow or Mercy Pharah. The difference here is that just for, oh my god, what's the number here? The number here is that Ashe plus Mercy does 200 damage. Well, more than 200 damage. So basically, you one-shot people if you headshot them. And that's an insane thing to be able to do, because if you're just firing into a crowd, chances are you're probably going to blow someone's head off and you're going to take them out.
You just become a rapid-fire Widow. That's the way to look at it.
And you just have to hit one shot, and next thing you know, the fight is completely turned. And on top of that, you're still going to be doing a high amount of damage anyway into tanks and stuff like that, because Ashe can absolutely do that. You're going to be doing a huge amount of AoE damage as well if you throw the dynamite over the enemy team and sort of manage to catch multiple people on fire. That's all getting damage amped. And more importantly as well, similar to the sort of the Widow Mercy idea where you have the Mercy supporting the Widowmaker, if Ashe gets killed, she's generally at a range where Mercy can actually get the res off as well and just pick her right back up. So you have a safety net on top of it. So I think Ashe Mercy, like Ashe could be a sneaky way to bring Mercy back more into the game, where now she's just sort of a Pharah buff bot or a Widow buff bot. Widow's not really played a super amount these days. Pharah not played a huge amount these days, and perhaps going to be played less as well with Ashe coming into the game.
Yeah, I think Pharah is a bit of an unfortunate casualty. We both know Valkyrie, and I know he's been having some trouble quite recently on the ladder, where it's very difficult to get any kind of value. Like, I mean, you go back to looking at Pharah being a counter to Brigitte, and while she kind of is, all she ends up doing is giving loads of ultimate charge to the enemy team, and they're like, well, thank you for this, and then they kill your team, and I'm afraid you can't 1v6, so you just, you rocket fail and you just you cease to exist. It's quite bad for Pharah. But yeah, Ashe coming into competitive means it's even more difficult for Pharah to be effective, just simply because she's a hit scan. But I think going back to the point though about Widow, I feel like the damage boosted Ashe actually gets more value than the damage boosted Widow, because Widow tends to just overkill people when she's damage boosted, unless she's body shot in tanks or I guess body shot in DPS and whatnot. Whereas Ashe, I think she actually gets more value from it because she's just constantly pumping damage out. She's like this weird soldier Widow hybrid while she's damage amped. It's really strange, but I think it is really strong. And I honestly think if you've got good aim and you've got a Mercy friend, you should just duo queue. Just be like, hey, boost me, man, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah, it'll
people
be a really
will be
good combo.
quite shocked at the damage output. So the other thing with Ashe is, the way I look at Ashe and McCree is designed to deal with flankers, and I think McCree is almost going through a little bit of a mini role reassignment when you look at the damage to his Fan the Hammer. So this is not really to deal with tanks, this is to deal with Doomfist. So he can already deal with Tracer and Genji. Flashbang headshot, right? If you're good enough, you deal with them. Or you can just fan the hammer into them, right? And Genji will probably deflect as you start doing that to him. Tracer will probably recall if she's got it available. If not, you'll kill them. Doomfist, in a 1v1 scenario, you wouldn't do enough damage to him to kill him most of the time. Now you kind of can if you flashbang the floor as he jumps in. Now, obviously, there are some points to, point out here where Doomfist generally comes into a team, I guess, and he would get more shields then because there's more enemy targets, so then you wouldn't do as much damage as McCree. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is McCree's clearly going down, or at least in my head. I probably shouldn't say clearly, but in my head, he's going down the path of becoming the anti-flanker DPS. Whereas Ashe isn't really anti-flanker DPS. She's more, I can hold a choke, kind of. I can confirm kills around the corner. I can add a lot of damage in a team fight. I've got a very, very high amount of burst damage when it comes to securing kills, as compared to Soldier with a very high time to kill. I've got a really, really good engagement ultimate, which I think is going to be ridiculous. There's a lot of things you can combo that with. It's just going to be mental, that ultimate is. We're going to see a lot of clips on Reddit and all of that good stuff. But then if she does get dove upon, or if there is a flanker she needs to deal with, she does still have the ability to do damage to them, to sort of push them away. I compared this to Ana. So for Ana, if a Tracer is on top of you, and you land if you landed a sleep dart, good shot. But if you shoot her just with a normal dart, she'll take damage. Most Tracers will recall that damage because they're like, oh, I've took too much damage, because they get frightened of the grenade going off on them as well. So landing that shot on them sort of forces them to disengage maybe, or it makes them worried, and then you've got kind of the upper hand with trying to outplay them. Well, Ashe is kind of the same. If Ashe hits you with a shot, it's a lot of damage. She hits you in the head, it's pretty bad news for Tracer.
For Tracer, it's very bad news for Tracer. Yeah,
it's very dead.
She's
it's very dead if Tracer's, yeah. So she can spam. So there is the option to deal. Like, she's not like she's totally useless. And of course, we did discuss earlier on, if a tank jumps onto her, she can disengage with Coach Gun.
You want to know a secret trick with Genji? This is one of my favorite tricks dealing with Genjis, right, as Ashe, is you can do a super disengage. Because if you fire the Coach Gun into his deflect...
Yes, but this is going to get fixed.
Is it going to get fixed? Is it?
Yes, yeah.
Because you get the knockback and you get the knockback.
Double, yeah.
Yeah, you get 2 knockbacks and you go miles. And it's just like, so if he dashes you and then deflects, you just Coach Gun into it. Sure, you're going to take like 30 damage from the Coach Gun, but you're going to get launched across the goddamn map. And so you're just fine. That's a good distance for you to fight Genji at. So I love doing that at the moment. I hope that stays in.
I'm pretty sure that's getting fixed.
I love
but
it too
you
much.
can use it right now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah,
it's totally stupid.
Like the Tracer Ashe matchup though, I find fascinating. I remember talking to people quite early about this, and like, you know, they're trying to get other people's thoughts on how do you feel as a Tracer fighting Ashe? Because I see it as a kind of 50-50 at the moment, but I know the Tracers feel really scared because of that one-shot potential. They're not too worried about like the grenade or the Coach Gun. That generally forces a recoil, but if you're landing the dynamite stick on a Tracer, you generally set yourself on fire at the same time.
Yeah, you don't want to dynamite. Yeah.
And that's kind of a bad position for you to be in, because Tracer will tear you to pieces, right? Ashe she's somewhat slender, like she's somewhat got, you know, the standard Overwatch female
this
body.
Is a good point.
But
she is right. So compared to McCree, she's got a much smaller silhouette. She's much harder to hit than a McCree, which is a major advantage. It's like trying to shoot Moira. It's so difficult. It's like, die Moira, die. And Ashe is the same.
Yeah, it's a weird world we live in, right, where sort of body shape leads to game balance discussions, but Ashe absolutely has a more slender body shape than McCree's. McCree's like a walking refrigerator, basically. Ashe is a
His
stick.
head is massive as well, McCree.
So it's definitely something to consider, but if the Tracer gets into you, and like what I try and advise people to do as Tracer versus Ashe is to like blink around them, because the Ashe isn't very good at like scoping in and turning around, and when you scope out, then you've got a delay on your shots, so you're going to be messing up her aim a lot more, so you can really get into Ashe, and then blink around her, and then the Tracer absolutely has a huge advantage. She'll be able to tear Ashe apart in 1 or 2 clips. She's going to have to like Coach Gun just to disengage, or Coach Gun to try and blow the Tracer away. Tracer just recalls, blinks back in, and then you're sort of back to square one, right? So it's going to be a matter of like, very similar to the Widow Tracer matchup, except Widow can't just, you know, Widow can just grapple away. Ashe doesn't quite have that option. She can try with the Coach Gun, but Tracer can usually keep up with her. And so it's definitely going to be an interesting one to see. Of course, there is the elephant in the room of, well, if Ashe has this buddy who's a certain red-haired Viking lady, and the Viking lady shouts, "A la till Meg," or whatever it is, and then she has armor,
"A la till Meg,"
then Tracer's going to have more problems. So
oh dear.
I hope that Tracer gets back in the game. I love Tracer. I sort of want to make a hero roster for myself, or like playing Tracer, Ashe, and Widow, because I think that's like a good versatile mix of hit scan. And I'd love to be able to play those heroes. At the moment, Tracer's just in the garbage can. Ashe, however, she feels versatile, right? You can bring her out kind of anywhere.
Yeah, and the fact that we've just had a discussion there, theory crafting the way Ashe and Tracer duels can go down, shows you that they've got something right there with the hero, because it's not just an instant, aha, I counter this hero or comp, so get off that. It kind of reminds me like Widow. So when a lot of, you know, like this was the discussion we had back in the day where people would select Pharah and they'd be like, oh my god, I'm getting destroyed by Pharmacy. It's so OP, it's ridiculous. Of course, the problem was nobody could aim. So people couldn't shoot the Pharah out of the sky. So what they would do is go, we need a hit scan. So you get a Widow on your team. And the Widow couldn't aim. And then your team starts getting triggered and they're like, we got a soldier and a McCree. So suddenly you've got like 3 hit scan, all trying to shoot this Pharah out of the sky, which is just crazy because the rest of the enemy team are just doing what they like, and it's totally ridiculous. And it's kind of like with the Widow example, Widow countering Widow against a Widow it's not an instant counter, right? It's not, you don't just pick, and again with the Pharah thing I just sort of waffled about, it's not selecting the hero and you counter them. It's not like Brigitte who you just pick her and then it's like, well, certain heroes now kind of can't be played, which is not great. And I think or I hope Blizzard understand this, given the recent changes to Brig and all of that good stuff. Because I guess it is good stuff. But I prefer the more 50-50 kind of chance. Yes, there are times where somebody has the advantage. Like if the McCree's got a flashbang, right? He's got the advantage against the Tracer if the Tracer is point-blank range on him. So it's Tracer's job to try and get rid of the flashbang, then go back for the re-engage, right? I guess you could say with Ashe, like if Ashe has got a Coach Gun available, it might be more difficult for Tracer to get in there and do damage to her, because Ashe moves quite rapid as well when she starts popping the Coach Gun, and it can be difficult for Tracer to reacquire a target. So again, it's not a case of like, oh, I'm just going to kill you because I've picked a different hero. And I do like those type of like nuanced sort of like matchups where you feel a great sense of reward when you kill that enemy Widow in a Widow duel, right? You're like, I know where you are. I'm going to outplay you. I'm going to rotate this way, and I've killed you. So I am better than you in that moment in time, right? That is good, and I like that, Blizzard, and that's why I like Ashe, to be fair, because I think she's so fun. Like, there's been a lot of moments where I've played her. Again, I think this was on Busan as well. It was on the downtown area of the map, and I'm throwing the dynamite straight into the, like, you know, when they come down the sort of ramp, like into the, like, I guess it's like a
like
bush
the main
shelter
choke
or whatever the hell. Yeah, they come down there, you're throwing it in there, and you're shooting people. Like, I'm shooting them, I'm shooting like the Orisa, and then I'm look up in the air and I shoot the dynamite. It feels so cool to do that. It's like, wow, and it explodes on him, and Lucio's burning as he runs away. It's like, this is so cool. That feels so good.
Yeah, and it's not like Lucio is bursting into flames and he's going to die guaranteed. It's just giving you more options of, oh, I know he's going to be on low hit points, so now maybe I can go and try and secure the kill on the Lucio. It's more fluid design, and I think it's moving away, and like, I know that they said this a lot at BlizzCon. Like, every single interview with Jeff Goodman definitely seems to have had this particular line of, every single hero up till now that they've released has been ability focused. This hero is weapon focused. And I think this is a nice refocusing moment for Blizzard to realize that a weapon focused hero feels good and feels like it gives you options. You know, going back to Widow Farah, it's not a complete hard counter. I remember, like, in Seagull's famous video, I think he talks about the Widow Farah matchup being a little bit more niche, well, not niche, but a little bit more in depth than just, oh, Widow shoots Farah and therefore you win. If the Farah can get onto the Widow, then suddenly it's a much harder matchup, right? The Widow's sort of in an uncomfortable position, the Farah's in a very comfortable position, and then there's a lot of nuance happening there. And when you have that weapon-based design, it's not you just press a button and you win. You don't just hack and you beat Doomfist. You don't just stun and you beat Tracer. It's you have to aim, you have to plan, you have to sort of come up with ideas, and then you use your abilities to support the execution of those ideas, and that's what we really want. And it feels like, you know, maybe Ashe is a breath of fresh air blowing through the Team 4 offices going, this is what we want. We want some sort of FPS mechanics baked into the game that adds depth, because if you give us tools, then we get to play with those tools, and then you give us options, and that's where you get depth. If you just give us button that defeats situation X, then you don't really have depth, you have a flowchart, and I don't want a flowchart. I want a game. I want a video game.
You know, I'll be surprised if a hero crazier than Hammond comes out. Because Hammond, you look at Hammond as a hero, and he is like, oh, sorry, Wrecking Ball. In fact, I think Jeff said we could call him Hammond.
Yeah,
right?
Jeff said you can call him what you want, basically. His official name
the
is
rat,
Wrecking Ball.
the ball.
Yeah,
it's
the
usually
rat.
ball.
Ball is the call. Ball.
Anyway, ball. Yeah, so that has to be the most Overwatch hero there is. I mean, yeah, he's got a hit scan weapon, but it's like, what the hell? That couldn't exist in any other game. But you're right in what you say. Like, when they bring it back and they just go, hey, actually, Overwatch is a FPS game, guys. Let's make FPS heroes. It kind of just show you that even though Ashe on paper isn't really revolutionary, is she? When you look at her, she's not got crazy abilities. She's not got like a ridiculous weapon that does crazy stuff. It's very simple on paper, but its gameplay flow is really nice. It feels really... it just feels not comfortable.
You were at
but
BlizzCon,
it feels...
right? And I know for a fact that at BlizzCon, when you sit down to try the new hero, you're going to be in a map with 5 of those new heroes all at the same time, right? You're going to have a 6 versus 6.
There's some heroes. Oh no, there's some people who are legitimate heroes. They go to BlizzCon. The new heroes there, they're like, no, I'm playing Reinhardt or I'm playing Anna, and you're just
I've
like,
just
who are
queued
these guys?
for 4 hours.
Yeah,
I'm not going to play
it's like,
Reinhardt.
what the hell?
Oh, bless them. What legends they are. But you get the idea, right? That Ashe 6-on-6 is fun. It's really fun.
Yeah,
like, it actually works. I play a lot of Ashe headshot only because I like how it feels. I like for the practicing my aim, but it's a lot of fun. It feels like an old Westie shootout. Ashe free-for-alls, a lot of fun. And so it's really nice to have this thing, and when you have that situation, it feels like the hero has depth. It feels like the hero's got presence, and I like it. I really like the hero. I'm going to be an Ashe main like everybody else. She's too cool.
Good luck getting her in competitive. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think about this in the comments below. I have been Stylosa, and you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll hand it over to my lovely co-host.
I have been Josh, and will continue to be Josh, as one voice amongst many, and you can find me on Twitter at @one_amongst_many. Definitely give me a follow if you want to see what I'm up to. Otherwise, thank you for watching.
Yeah, dude. So make sure you click the bell so you get alerted to when videos go live, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. Toodaloo.
Doodles.